So our last game, which we would say is probably the second most impactful game, and it's really the rain that we're going to see as that front moves through, and to the 8:20 game is Ravens at Patriots, and this is right at game time, and then through game time. So you don't like this model. I know, Nick. This is the American model. He has some issues with this one, but he also has provided me a different graphic to show, and this is the precipitation.
Yeah.
This is I'm trying to find. There it is, Cape Cod. There we go.
Yeah. So this is the precipitation forecast for the ECMWF from 0 to 06Z on Monday. So throughout the game, and the GFS, the American model, is just more progressive with the storm. So it's moving out of the area almost before the game even starts, as you can see in the graphic Colin has up right now. In these storms where there's this kind of transfer of energy offshore, the American model does tend to be a little bit more progressive, and it generally tends to be wrong when it's doing that. So given the synoptic setup here, or the large-scale atmospheric pattern, I'm siding with ECMWF. I think there's a potential that, especially in the first half, this game could be very wet, and I think it's likely that the rain totals we're showing in our table are actually under forecast. So I think this could be... Yep, our 0.09 is probably a little bit too low. I think you'll see that go up to probably 0.15 or something like that over the next few days, unless the EC starts to trend towards the American model, which is always possible. But this could be a heavy impact rain event, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I think this is the highest risk for as far as precipitation, the Cleveland game for wind, and then the New England game for precipitation. And we have two big quarterbacks starring in this game as the Ravens travel to New England. We have Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton. How are we feeling about starting these guys in this game where we expect potentially heavy rainfall?
Well, we do have some analytics that we ran, and we know Cam Newton does not do well in the weather, and we've seen him this year. He does not do well this year. Also, Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's $7,100 on the DraftKings. It's going to be a run-heavy game, I think. I think it's going to be a run-heavy game just based on the game itself. Without the rain, if it's rain, it's going to even go there more. I think Baltimore just stomps the Patriots. And I think, to be honest, there's so many other options for the value of at least 7,100. And I would not start Cam Newton. I just don't. I wouldn't. That's my opinion.
Yeah, in rainy games, his passing yards, he's only eclipsed 200 yards 2 times out of the...
You're talking Cam Newton,
I think I have 7 or 8 games. Cam Newton, I'm sorry, did I say Lamar Jackson?
No, you just said he. I just didn't know who you were talking about.
I'm sorry, Cam Newton. We have 7 games in which he's played in some precipitation. He's only eclipsed the 200-yard mark passing 2 of those times, and just barely in one of them he had 211 yards and 246 in the other. And his TD totals look to go down. I'm a little bit concerned about the Patriots moving the ball effectively. They did it toward the end of the game against the Jets, but let's face it, they're the Jets. I think he's going to give you a rushing baseline, but don't expect a big game from Cam Newton in this one. We just haven't seen him have a big performance in rain, and I don't anticipate that to happen against our Ravens defense. Speaking of the Ravens, we also have Lamar Jackson, who was this like 1 or 2 QB going into this year, but I actually read an article, and what Lamar Jackson is saying is that defenses are picking up on what they're doing. They're reading the audibles and play calls, and defenses know what they're doing. And
especially Belichick. Belichick will know
that was going to be my point, especially a Bill Belichick defense who, I mean, let's just face it, they're smart with this stuff, cheating or not, right?
Okay.
So Lamar Jackson has not had in any rain again. We've had 3 rain events for him. And he has not eclipsed 150 yards, and he's only had 1 TD max in these games. So I think this may be another rushing potential game for Lamar Jackson, but he's just been capped this year. He's only maybe had 1 or 2 really big-ish games. I don't think that's going to happen again in this one. Right now, the over-under on the New England is 43.5. So that's even Vegas telling you we're not super confident with this. I'm
so tempted to take the over on this one just because I think the run game will actually score more. But
Yeah, I mean, you got Dobbins that's really wanting to get into really get into a groove here. I think this is going to be a close one. I think if what Nick mentions here, this rain comes to fruition and it's heavy rain amounts, I just have trouble envisioning these offenses getting up to 44 points. But that's me.
Yeah, that's one to watch, and definitely follow us on our social media at FFWeatherguys on Twitter, Facebook.
So
Yeah, well,
quickly though, with this, like
I
if you're
wasn't
thinking about pass catchers,
I wasn't ending.
what's that?
I
Colin?
wasn't ending. I was just getting to my
Oh, I
point.
thought you were ending on this. I
No,
was like, oh wait.
no, don't worry, Sean. I'll let you know because I know you got to get that last word in. Trust me, Sean always
I do.
gets the last word. No,
do.
so I was just saying, this is definitely one to watch. So because like Nick was saying, depending on what model comes to fruition with the storm and when not storm, the front. I should be careful with my terms. So to me, I think I'm staying away from any player in this game in DFS. I think that you have some upside possibly with Baltimore running game, but that's what I was just saying. I was just doing a little social media plug, Sean. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not. I would maybe be thinking about like a Dobbins here potentially. The big pass catchers for the Ravens were supposed to be Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, and they're just not doing what they're supposed to be. Defense are just stifling. I mean, Nick Boyle is the big pass catcher, the big tight end on this team right now. So maybe you give him a glance area look. He's been doing well. But other than that, I'm not looking many. I'm not super confident in anybody in this one. And Vegas is speaking to that. It's a sub 45 over under. So